Hey guys. So, Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Yes, Wrath of the Latch King. Uh, Wrath Classic. For the longest time, I know I've been vocal about it in my videos when I've been doing it and stuff like that. But Dungeon Finder, random, you know, LFR or looking LFD rather. LFR was in Cataclysm. And boy, was that fun when it first came out. I remember, I think Elfar and like Zulamon and Zul like all those came out at the same time, and just sitting there, you would sit there for maybe 5 hours before you got in. I think it was Dragon Soul was introduced with Elfar, so and then like all the other like Zulamon, Zul'Gurub, and all of them were LFD, and getting to LFD took like 5 hours. But LFD for Classic Wrath or Wrath Classic um has been confirmed. Apparently, hopefully, we'll be getting it in the ICC patch, which is apparently going to start PTR in on 29th of this month, so August 29th, which is in it's next Tuesday. It'll possibly start. Probably about 4 or 5 weeks or so, for it to, because I mean it's Wrath. It's not like it's a new expansion or anything. It's just ICC, so it's pretty much getting things tuned and balanced and this and that. Um, but here is someone pretty much confirming it. So
um, this is in on the books. I can talk a little bit about the LFG tool in particular. We've seen that the community has been asking for random dungeon finder, especially for finding groups while leveling. We agree that that experience in particular can be better. So we do think now's the time. We will soon be bringing random dungeon finder to Wrath of the Lich King Classic.
there we have it. So random dungeon finder or looking for a dungeon, whatever you want to call it. I've been vocal about it in my videos because I've said before it is classic. It's classic Wrath, which is great, but we don't have like the time we used to have. When it comes to finding groups, we don't have 5 6 hours to just sit in Orgrimmar or sitting in Stormwind or wherever it is and just say looking for group, blah blah blah, and good to go. And then you'll get all the way to the dungeon, and then one of the people will leave, then you'll have to hearth back to wherever, and now they do have the group, the little group finder type thing where you pretty much list what you're looking for, but it's the same thing. I've done that, and sometimes same thing. I'm sitting there for hours. Now it's good because you can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in the capital city or anywhere with a kind of chat, but it's still difficult with the group finder. It pretty much within most of the time for me within a couple minutes. And I know a lot of people have said that if they implement that into the game, they'll come back because leveling alts, going through the same leveling experience over and over and over. Some people like leveling uh through dungeons. You're going through dungeons, you're getting a good amount of experience. You're guaranteed at least one piece of upgraded gear. And it's blue, rare quality, so it means it's stronger than uncommon. Uh, so it's a lot better for leveling and gearing. Um, and I just like I've said, I personally I just love the Wrath dungeons. The aesthetics, you have like troll dungeons that are always amazing. Um, the Nexus. I mean, I think there are a few dungeons I don't like. Oculus, I don't like. Trial of the Crusader, I don't like. Um, which is another one I don't like. Um, there's a there's another one I don't like. Violet Hold, I don't like. Yeah, there's just some I don't like, but the rest are great. Um, but again, a lot of people say the same thing. It's like I don't have time to sit around for 5, 6 hours waiting for a group for it to possibly fail. You know, you're in the group, right? And you're in the dungeon. If someone leaves, you just click the button to find someone else. And within the matter of usually seconds, sometimes it can take a little longer. I've been in groups where the healer leaves and I've had to double as a healer because, whatever. We make it to the end, and then the healer finally comes in after we've beaten the boss already. So it's like, or they'll show up just before the boss is beaten, and they'll get all the experience that they're supposed to get. It's like, well, that was the easiest experience of my life. You see them ding and all that, and it's like, well, congratulations, you didn't have to run anything. Um, but I understand what people are with the social aspect of it, but there are some people who just want to play the game. They don't really want to socialize that much because they may not have time to socialize. Some people like, come home from work or whatever, and they just want to get on because they don't have much time. And instead of sitting in Orgrimmar or Stormwind or Undercity or this or that for however long, you pop it up, okay, heroic or, random or select, specific ones, find group, and within a matter of a couple minutes, boom, you're in. And it's just so much easier. Um, so I'm glad they're finally going to implement it because I've been a big supporter of it. If they're, especially when they say it's classic Wrath, the Finder was in classic Wrath. And then all of a sudden, when they're saying, oh, it's not going to be, and it's like, well, then it's not classic Wrath. Classic Wrath had Dungeon Finder in it. To remove it, it's not classic anymore. You know, that's like saying, "Oh, we're gonna release Classic Wrath," but I actually, can you? I don't remember. Can you upgrade the models? It'd be like that, saying, "Oh yeah, you can upgrade the models," even though those came out like what Warlords of Draenor. It's like, "Oh, you want to play Wrath with the updated models?" Then it's not classic. It's not classic. Keep classic as what it was. Um, but it's a good thing, and a lot of people, from what I heard and seen on the forums, it was like one person who was like just hell bent and just set in that mindset of no, we're not going to do it. But apparently that person's gone now. Um, but it's going to be it's a big sigh of relief and a huge load off of the community because people have been vocal. I mean, you go on the forums, thread after thread after thread. It's like, why, Finder is a good thing. Why we need it, this and that. Arguments for Dungeon Finder. People want it. So it's good that they're going to implement it, and it's definitely going to cause people to come back to Wrath. I've already seen people like, oh, guess I'm coming back and leveling alts now, or maybe not an alt. Maybe you've done that experience back in the day and you just want to level your main through dungeons. I've said myself, it's like I don't feel like going through that level, especially with my main, which is my warlock, because that's what he was back in the day. I don't feel like leveling through all that experience again just to get to Northrend. I just want to go into the dungeons, get that huge amount of XP that it gives you, and just, you know, climb my way up quickly so that way I can get to Northrend and enjoy that content. Then if it takes a little while over there, it doesn't matter because I'm where I'm supposed to be and where I want to be, you know? And I found that most of the time you can just kind of go to Sholazar Basin at a certain level. I think it's like 75. You can go to Sholazar 74, 75, and you can just level the rest of the way there. There are so many quests in Sholazar Basin. You can just level all the way from like 74 or so to 80. It's insane. Between that and doing a combination of dungeons, And the ones in Sholazar Basin are fairly easy. A lot of them are just fetch quests. Go get me 4 papayas and this and that. Go fetch this. Go find my lost ring. You know, kill however many crocolisks and, really, really simple quests. Nothing too major. At least for the first part. And then you're getting over to where, the mountainous area and um but they're all fun quests for the most part. Um, but I'm glad they're adding it. I really am. So I'll actually get back into, I remember when it first came, was announced, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play the hell out of it. But then it's like Dungeon Finder is like, oh, it's not gonna be in the game. It's like, well, I'm not playing then. That was the one thing I liked about Wrath Classic was the Dungeon Finder, because it did make things so much easier for people who may have just gotten tired of the leveling experience and just wanted to go through dungeons. Again, they're fairly simple dungeons, and you're like guaranteed at least one piece of gear every single time. So it's a great way to level. Not only level but kind of keep up with your gear and all that. Because it's like one piece of rare gear is like the equivalent of 2 green pieces. So, um, but it's good, and I think the community is definitely going to be happy about that. Um, and they should be. So once it's released, I'll probably be playing Classic a lot more and doing a lot more dungeons now, so that way I can get my warlock where up to where I want him. I've got my Death Knight up to in Northrend, but I don't want to level him first. I want to level my warlock like I did in in classic Wrath, back in the day in 2008. God, I'm old. I'm old. But anyways, if you're playing Wrath Classic, are you happy for the implementing of Dungeon Finder? Are you for it? Are you against it? Did you use it a lot back in the day? Do you prefer the leveling experience, or is it like, nah, I've done it already? So in Classic, Wrath, it's gonna be nice to have that tool there that can give me all this experience. Um, and back in Wrath, what was your main? For me, like I said, it was my Orc Warlock Wows. And I know you're thinking that's a weird name. Yeah, I was thinking of a warlock name. My friend was like, well, looks like he's got the wows again, referring to the cat Legolas. And I was like, wows. So I just typed in WOWZ. Wasn't taken, so I got my name Wows. But yeah, so all that great stuff. Let me know below. That's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.